This is a continuation of section 2.1 talking about the words for the operations of multiplication and division. First we'll discuss multiplication and those words that are translated from English into the operator of multiply. And the first one we're going to discuss here is the word product. Product, we already discussed, means multiplication, so when we see the word product we automatically know we're discussing multiplication. And with the word product you will need the word and that's going to tell you where to put the operator. So here you see the product of 6 and some number, 6 times x. Remember that when we multiply by a variable we can just write that next to a number. Remember that multiplication is commutative, and so even if this did say the product of some number and 6, we would probably still write it as 6x versus 6 times x times 6, as you see down here at the bottom noted. Times, that word is another word for multiplication, we all know that, but we don't need the word and to go in there. Times, wherever it is written, that's where we put the operator of multiplication in. So 24 times some number, 24x. Twice is a special word in multiplication. When you see the word twice, it means multiply by 2. Do not confuse it with an exponent of 2, different things. So twice some number means 2x. Twice 24 means 2 times 24, and you see the parenthesis notation used here. Remember also that if we wanted to, we could write that as 2 in parentheses and 24 in parentheses as well. Different ways of writing multiplication. Multiplied by, another word for multiplication that we see wherever we're going to put in the operator. So 8 multiplied by some number, 8x. The word at, wherever it occurs, at is a word that means multiplication. Some number of items at $5 a piece. Notice the commutative property that's come in here as I've written 5x instead of x 5 or x times 5 in some manner. The word of is another word that means multiply. We'll see of used in a bunch of different ways. We'll see fractional parts of numbers, we'll see amount of, we'll see percent of. The word of is the word that we mean as multiply. So a quarter of some number. A quarter is a fractional representation, 1/4, and then multiplied by x, so it's just written there. Now a quarter x can also be written as x over 4. We're going to get into a discussion of fractions in the next section, and so we'll be seeing that. Amount of, and usually we're talking about in terms of money, so we're going to put in a decimal representation for cents or in terms of dollars, or we'll just say that it's in terms of dollars in the first place and use the representation in cents there. Now percent of, we're going to also discuss percentages at the end of this chapter, so we'll talk about how we represent that. But 3% of some number, that again means multiply, and this being 0.03 is the percentage representation, and that's what we'll discuss later. Now words for division. Division, we don't have as many words for division, and thank goodness. Division, no matter what order it comes in, the first number is your dividend, followed by the second number being your divisor. Remember those from earlier lecture. So quotient, we already know or should know that that is the word that means divide. So the quotient of 6 and a number means 6 divided by the number. It's exactly the order that it comes in, dividend and then divisor. The quotient of 6 of some number in 6, on the other hand, means x divided by 6, the order that they come in. The word divided by, we don't need that and like we saw in quotient. Divided by just takes the place of the operator. So some number divided by 20. X and then divided by gets replaced by the operator, and then 20. The ratio of, a ratio, a lot of times we write ratios as fractions. So the ratio of some number to 8, x over 8, keep in mind, remember that we can also write this as x over 8, as you see over here on the right hand side. So those are the different ways that we can write division. Now with all that in mind, we'll be able to translate a English phrase into a mathematical or algebraic expression, and that's what we'll do next by some examples.